Now that is solid. That's how you intro.
Getting ready to do some singing, but
that's exactly right. I'm down. Well, big. We're continuing on the sports theme here, live from the Christian Village. Want to talk a little bit, preview for maybe Lincoln Railer basketball or some local hoops.
Yeah, we could talk about some Railer basketball. They start practice Monday, November 5th. It seems just like yesterday the season ended. You know, my kid was a senior last year and played, and it just seems like they just finished. But basketball is pretty much a year-round sport, so it doesn't ever end. And
exactly.
They kick off their season with their practice Monday. Going to be a young team this year. They're going to have to find some kids to step up and be leaders. You know, we got Max Cook. He'll be a junior. Gavin Block will be a sophomore. We got Will Pop Belsick, Bowlby.
Coach seemed excited when he was on just a couple weeks, or he was at one of our events a couple weeks ago, and he seemed pretty excited about this year. Kind of optimistic. I'm not gonna lie.
Should be excited. You know, they're the only downfall is they're young, a little inexperienced, but they're very athletic. They've been playing basketball a long time.
More so than last year. You know, the way it looks.
Yeah. Well, you lose three starting seniors from last year: Christian Van Hook, Jordan Gesner, and Austin Kirby. You know, so you got to find three other people to step up and be a leader and take control. But I don't see that being a problem. It's a good group of kids. They're fun to watch. Very athletic. I think it's going to be a pretty good season. We'll just have to wait and see
how they gel together and everything. And Coach, of course, he's always going to get them playing defense.
Yeah, and you know he can take a team that you think is going to win 5 games. They'll win 20 games. Yep. It's all about playing hard. You know, you don't have to.
Everybody was kind of writing them off in the Central State 8, and they end up going to state. So,
and we don't have the best athletes, year in, year out, and that's just the way it is. But they play hard, and they play under a system. They know where they're supposed to be. They know what they're supposed to do. Yep. As long as they do that, they're going to be successful. Play tough defense, be aggressive. That's all you can ask.
It's amazing at that level. Central State 8's not a cupcake division. In our conference, and you put all that together, and how many winning seasons Lincoln puts together, and how they win against all these different teams, Lanphiers and Jacksonville, Chatham, all these teams, Springfield and Southeast, and Coach keeps putting them up there. You always look at it, and you always have to when they're doing their preseason rankings, it has to be hard for a team to put Lincoln towards the bottom half of that class. Every year. Doesn't matter who they have coming in for their class because of the coaching system that we've had in place.
Yeah, well, we have the same type of kid year in, year out. We don't have the 6'10" kid, with the exception of Brian Cook. We don't have the big kids. Our kids, 6'2", 6'3", maybe. The biggest, maybe 6'4", but they go out, they play hard, they play within the system. And year in, year out, it's the same basic concept, basic format. And nobody's found a way to stop it yet. And, you go to, like you mentioned earlier, the Central State 8, they have better athletes at Lanphier, Springfield, Southeast. They're better athletes, but they're not as well coached, or they're not as disciplined, I guess.
Maybe they don't fall into the system quite the way that our teams do. And maybe the coaching systems around Central State 8, maybe they'll change for individual players. Whereas with Neil Alexander here, it's going to be one system every year. So
and it starts. These kids start playing when they're in like kindergarten, first grade. They play all the way up through junior high. So it's a system that kind of just builds up. They get to high school, and they've been there, done that. So,
and looks like we have a caller. There we go. Caller, we're here.
Hey, it's Josh.
Hey, Josh, how we doing, man?
What's going on, guys? Just tuning in. Our Chester East basketball game got canceled today, so taking the oldest comic to the first basketball game of his career.
Nice.
And just sitting in the parking lot listening to you guys.
Nice.
Nice.
Was it canceled because you didn't have enough kids? Are your kids sick? Are your kids sick? Is that why it was canceled, or?
Yeah, with the viral thing that went through that most people heard about in Chester East, They were a little scared that we were going to spread not only other kids but to other schools, and it was a wise decision, and decided to stay home from the game today.
Well,
probably a good move safety-wise for not only our kids but the other schools as well. What's coming up? What's on the agenda for Chester East Lincoln basketball?
Oh, we're 1-1 right now. Both squads are 1-1. We played in the Cornerstone Christian Academy tournament over the week, and we played Tuesday, Thursday, and then of course we're supposed to play today. But we were victorious in the 7th grade game Thursday against Cornerstone and lost in the 8th grade game, and then Monday the 7th grade team lost to Normal Calvary, and the 8th grade team won against Normal Calvary. So plenty of room to improve, but we're looking okay so far.
Nice.
Well, it's kind of
talking a little Rayler basketball, and
yeah. What's your take on that, Josh? How do you think they're going to look this year?
Personally, I like the team. I don't know that Coach Al. I think we can be really deep this year. I don't know. It's taken me back several years, maybe to even when my brother was playing, to have a team that can go. I think maybe 8, 9 guys deep with Joey Olden. You've got the Horsham kid that can shoot it from the outside, the Evil Air kid. There's some guys that can play on this team, and not only are they juniors and seniors, but they're sophomores also, and we have some size. We're across the board. We could throw out Gavin, Bolby, and Conrady, and both 6'5" and good frames and long. And if I'm coach, I'm pretty excited, about the team with some experience coming back from last year. But you have some young guys that I think are hungry, and I think it's going to be a nice year this year, and I think it'll even be a better year next year.
Nice. Well, I can't agree with you more, Josh. Pretty excited about the season to get kicked off, just right around the corner.
Yeah, it is. It's as you said, Kirby, that the practice starts, and I was reflecting back to my days of the early morning practices. The first 2 weeks, you're up early in the morning to practice, and then you're after school, and I don't miss those days, but I miss everything going back in.
Yeah, those are pretty brutal. Even if you just have a kid that you have to get up to get there, that's brutal as well. But we don't have to do that this year.
And then the parents got to get, try and get you up, and I'm sure you were in that boat for 4 years also. You got to get your tail out of bed to get them up and make sure you're not late and give them all the opportunity they can to be good. But of course, Coach will have them ready, and that's no question about that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You have to do that. You only have so many practices before your first game, so there's a lot to cover and a lot to go over. So the more practices you can get in, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, and especially with the competition we played. I was just looking at the schedule this past week. For Rayler fans, this is a big time to get a good year, especially to get season tickets. You've got tons of home games. I don't know that usually Coach Al tries to get a long road game, whether it be Carbondale in the past or Moline. But we don't have any of those really this year, and those guys all come to Lincoln, to Roy S. I saw Glenbrook North. It looks like it's going to come this year, and I don't know if that's a contract for several years, but that's a kind of an exciting school, a north suburb school out of Chicago. It's coming to Roy S. Moline's coming to Roy S. A lot of home games, and I think it's going to be a good, fun year.
Yep, I agree with you, Josh. It's going to be exciting, and it's a team that's going to get up and down the court. Like you said, a lot of young kids. Some of those kids are going to have to step up and be some leaders. But yeah, I'm pretty excited myself.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch. We got a lot of guys that can do multiple things, just not a post guy, and you're just not a point guard. We've got some kids that can shoot it. We've got some kids that can hit the 15-footer, that can go to the basket. I think that'll be the biggest thing. Like most of the time it is with the Railers, is can we rebound and can we get to the basket when our shots aren't falling from the outside? We've got to get the Max Cook. We've got to get the Gavin Block to be the type of player that can get to the rim and finish when our shots aren't falling. And hopefully they've honed their skills over the summer, and they showed a little bit of it last year. But we need a consistent basis out of that from especially those two guys that got a lot of experience from last year.
Well, the season kicks off the Monday before Thanksgiving here at Lincoln. It's the inaugural, I guess, the Eaton Holiday Tournament, Thanksgiving tournament. So encourage everybody to come out and watch them, and it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, just a couple weeks away.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Of course, 96.3 will have it. Myself and Jeff number one will be we'll bring it to you live. So we're excited. We'll be ready. And the comic in the truck here is getting anxious to get in the gym. So I got to get him in there, guys. Have a good show, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see you, Josh.
Thanks. Nice to get a little call in from the Mr. Comnick, kind of pulling away.
That's kind of unfortunate. You don't really hear game being canceled because of a virus.
Yeah. And to be honest, first time I remember hearing of it around this area.
And you mentioned it earlier. It's a good thing, though. Get these kids quarantined, get them healthy.
Yeah, get some of the virus out of the school. I mean, that's the thing. Flu bug. It's on everything. So as kids touch things, it can multiply in their bodies and get them sick, which then leads to other kids getting sick. And got to contain this as much as possible. My oldest goes to Chester East, and yesterday they let them out. Probably made a smart move there by the school. They had a couple kids, or quite a few kids, call in sick or didn't come into school yesterday. A lot of kids going home during school, and they were only open till 11. They let everybody out at 11, so. That's quick turnaround with as few people as that was there yesterday. So
let's hope they can get that taken care of and get the kids back to school, because you don't want to miss in school. That's just longer they have to go.
Speaking of missing, NHL.
Oh yeah,
what in the world? What's going on there? How do you have a professional franchise? I mean, NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. NHL just went through a lockout literally, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Very fresh in many people's mind. They're on the bounce back. They're coming back. Some of their better franchises are actually finally winning. Blackhawks, a few others, LA, are actually winning games. They're getting people out and actually at their events. And now they lock them out. They canceled their biggest night of the year. In my mind, I watched the Winter. I'm not a hockey guy, but I watched the Winter Classic. It's nostalgic. It's cool to me. It feels right. It feels like the way hockey's supposed to be played. And it's canceled now for this year. The biggest night of their year. They might as well just lock it up and cancel the rest of the season.
Well, they was just getting their fan base back from from when they did it, several years ago. They locked them out, and just getting everybody's interest back in the sport. And I really got interested when the Blackhawks, I watched that season where they won the Stanley Cup. So it was starting to get the interest back and rolling. And then they canceled the Winter Classic.
Yep.
It was going to be Detroit Red Wings versus the Toronto Maple Leafs at Michigan
at the
Big House. 108,000 or so people watching. And
how much fun would that be?
That would have been, I'd have loved to win.
Oh, my goodness.
But, you cancel that, and that's just, you might as well just wrap
Classic,
it up.
Just a couple years ago, it was at Wrigley. It was at Comiskey. I mean, there's just great tradition with it, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it seems like that's how hockey should be played, and I know it has to be their highest-watched games. Game of the year, and unfortunately they've already kind of thrown it under the bus. They say it's not that important, I guess. And you can't come to contract decisions this late. I mean, they had all summer to get something hammered out to where they could get, and it sounds like they're not even in the negotiations right now.
They're not even. I think they were going to start talks up again this weekend, but I thought it was kind of premature to cancel the Winter Classic. It's not till mid-December.
Yeah.
That could be something to get the fans back into it. Yeah. You're going to have a shortened season if you even have a season. So, but I guess that's their call, and that's why I'm not involved with the NHL.
I was going to say, how many people are actually missing it? I mean, you're having another good football season. Yeah. Basketball's now kicked off, so you got two of your major sports. Baseball just got done. But, I mean, if baseball – even if hockey was going, we would just be at the beginning of the season right now anyways, for second month, I guess. But, how many people are missing hockey right now?
Well, you'd be surprised. A lot of the northern, I know there's a lot of hockey fans in Chicago, and then you get up into, obviously, Canada.
Yep.
The northern states, they're all, big hockey fans. As, get farther south, kind of dissipates a little bit. But, You know, I can live with her without it. I'm not going to sit around on a Saturday night and watch a hockey game.
I mean,
unless the playoffs, you know.
But, and especially this time of year, you've got, college football full swing.
Oh yeah, there's so much going on.
Basketball just kicking off. I mean, we had tip-offs last week. We've already got a couple games in on college basketball season. There's a lot to take in.
Yeah, and that's the problem. There's so much to take in.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to find something else to watch.
And the NHL really it's a pretty long season.
Yeah.
Usually starts about the 1st of October, if I'm thinking right, and doesn't end until June.
Yeah.
Almost the exact same time as NBA, lengthwise. So that's a long season to keep your attention span. Maybe they need to look at changing their season up maybe a little bit, switching it around, doing something different with it. I mean, it wouldn't be how they've always done it, but at the same time, maybe they need to look at doing something different. If they're worried about revenues and they're willing to forfeit a season, maybe they need to make some drastic changes.
Yeah, they'll probably have to now after this situation.
Well, we're going to take our last commercial break from the Christian Village out here, and we get back. Looks like we're going to talk a little NFL and also maybe a happy birthday or something. I don't know. Yeah.
The head of bobbin.
Joe loves this. It's his favorite stuff. You should see our cameraman right now, just banging away. We're back at the Christian Village. Happy birthday to Denny Freeman. Denny Freeman, happy birthday, man. I think he just turned 25. Huh. Anyways, we're back. Scott, what do you think, man?
Well, we'll finish up maybe the show with some football.
Want to talk some NFL?
Yeah.
Well, for our beloved Bear, Peanut Tillman, Charles Tillman, named NFC Defender of the Month for October. He had a big month. A couple of touchdowns taken back. 4 interceptions, I think?
4, 2 touchdowns. And, last month we had Jennings. He was the defensive player of the month. It's the first time that's ever happened. 2 cornerbacks from the same team get it back-to-back for, defensive player of the month. And that's a pretty big accomplishment there.
They are having a nice year, though. That game against the Detroit Lions a few weeks ago, Tillman put on display of exactly how you defend. Probably one of the most dynamic, if not the most dynamic wide receiver in the NFL right now. So great honors to him. The Bears went 4-0 last month. They are 6-1 on the year. Here, quick little breakdown for you. In the NFC, Falcons are 7-0, Bears 6-1, Giants and 49ers 6-2, Packers and Vikings 5-3. Then you flip over to the AFC. You have Houston at 6-1, the Ravens at 5-2, and the Patriots 5-3, and then the rest of them are 4-3. Colts, Denver, and Dolphins.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
the NFC right now is probably the upper tier conference.
That's what it sounds like right now. We talked a little bit about that last week. I'm sorry. You look at the Falcons, the Bears, the Giants, and the 49ers. That's really tough. And then the teams right behind them, the Packers and the Vikings. Boy, they're right there.
They are.
They could take off on either one of those teams could take off on a run. And put themselves in good playoff position as well.
They did. The Vikings didn't look so hot the other night against Tampa Bay. They played, was it Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look real well. So I think they might come back down to earth a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. I'm wondering if it's their schedule that's put them in that position as opposed to their play.
Yeah.
The Bears have had a couple fortunate wins this year as well. But, the old saying, you'd rather win ugly than lose.
Yeah.
So, the Bears are pulling them out. Like I said, 6-1. They're in a good position right now. If they could win a couple more games, they're going to be in the playoffs if they can just get a few more wins.
Well, the ball has to bounce your way. They played a horrible game against Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Should have lost that game.
Yep.
If Carolina, I don't know what they're thinking. They just don't know how to finish a game. But well,
not only that, I think the Bears defense actually started playing in the second half. And then the offense, for whatever reason, Brandon Marshall, I think, just said basically, look, you're throwing to me. I'm your only option. Give me the ball.
They ran the same play 4 times at the end of the game to get that field goal. Same play, didn't change up anything, just quick slants. march right down the field, and they're no huddle. Why not run that a little bit more?
Yeah,
get into a groove. Get everybody involved, and then kind of set back and then pick them apart.
That's one thing I've kind of wondered over the years. It's something that the Patriots actually do very well. In the middle of the third quarter, the second quarter, not at the very end. A lot of times they'll go no huddle for one or two series in a row, and usually puts points on the board. I mean, if nothing else, a field goal. But that you would think that would kind of disrupt the defense a little bit more, doing it at the middle of a game instead of waiting just for the end.
Right. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. The New England Patriots this year, they brought in the Oregon coach from Oregon. They're running a high-tempo offense right now. They've ran more plays than anybody in the NFL as far as offense goes. And, they're just running play after play, and their time of possession. That's what hurt the Bears last Saturday, their time of possession.
Yeah.
Carolina ran maybe 23, 25 more plays than the Bears did because the Bears didn't have the ball. Their defense was on the field the whole game. And luckily at the end of the game they were able to step up, make a few big stops. But, yeah, the whole league on a whole, it's just you look at them on paper each week, each matchup, and you just look at it, and there's no team that really stands out and just say, well, they're going to take it. Atlanta, I mean, yeah, they're 7-0.
A couple of those ones as well.
They barely beat Carolina, and just there's no upper, I don't know.
No team that you're thinking is going to run away.
Yeah, just going to go away with it. San Francisco looks good at times.
Yep.
But Minnesota beat them. Anybody on any given day, unless you're playing Kansas City or Jacksonville, can win.
This week, the Bears have Tennessee at Tennessee.
Yeah.
What's your feelings on that?
I think they'll win by at least a touchdown. After their game play against Carolina, I think they'll bounce back. They'll get in a little bigger groove. The only thing that they have to fear for Tennessee is Chris Johnson. Yeah. You can't let him run free all day. He's a powerful runner. He's got speed. But if you can contain him, because I know our cornerbacks are going to contain Wright and Kenny Britt on the outside, so I don't see any issues there. And we're probably going to play that cover 2. Maybe bring our safeties up a little bit. Yeah. I know in the past they had Conti and Wright. Maybe. They had them like 25 yards downfield playing over Calvin Johnson. A little double coverage. Make them run the ball. So this week you might have to bring them up a little bit to keep an eye on Johnson. But
absolutely,
I think they'll be all right. Our defense is amazing. We just got to get our offense going.
And we're about ready to wrap it up real quick. Note compared to last week, one quick change on Bobby V's top Major League Baseball team. I was going to throw in Robin Yount as shortstop. One other thing, a quick note. Mount Pulaski won their sectional this week on Thursday. Erica Lever led the way with 9 kills, and they'll be playing at 7 o'clock tonight up in Streeter for the Super Sectional. So good luck to the Lady Hilltoppers. That's all we got from the Christian Village this week. Next week we will be at Blades Nail and Spa. And I believe they're having a big event out there next week as well, big open house. So anybody that want to show up, maybe get a facial or Jim, facial, is that right? A trim or anything else, come see us out there at Blade Nail and Spa, and we'll see you next week.